power up call. This is gonna be a good one. We got a nice, wonderful, what is it, Saturday? Yeah, Friday. Wonderful Friday morning here. Gonna sit here and bring you guys some wild, earth-shattering, mind-altering laws of the universe that are really, honestly, extremely simple and extremely obvious, but their implications aren't. And people's actual ability to apply them, it kind of gets like pushed to the wayside by all the distractions of life. So today we're gonna push all those distractions aside instead, and we're gonna focus on this idea, this principle, because the idea of cause and effect is something that is integral to your life and getting what you want, and it's also integral into how you communicate and help other people. Right. So much of what you do as a copywriter is going to be about cause and effect. And if you start to see the world through the lens of cause and effect, you're going to have a huge advantage over people who ignore this basic law of the universe. So before we do that, quick announcements. If you are, you probably got to this channel or got to this call through a different channel than normal. So instead of the normal announcements channel, I have moved announcements for all of the live calls, like the power up calls, the student review calls, all that stuff, to a new channel inside of the general section called live video call announcements. So that's where you're going to be getting your notifications. That's where you're going to be finding the information for this call. I'm going to save the announcements channel for more general things like, hey, I uploaded a new video to the program, or hey, go check out this. Here's a link to submit a new intro for the power up calls, that kind of stuff, right? So that's what announcements is going to be. If you are watching this and you are still in the boot camp, once you hit stage 10, there is a new channel in there that's inside of the chat section. That is the temporary bootcamp updates. Right now I'm going through and I'm actively, one moment, I'll be right back. I'm back. So there is a channel called the temporary bootcamp updates. That is where you're going to find, in the meantime, while I'm actively building up the bootcamp and rebuilding and refilming all of it to give you guys the newest, the latest, and greatest, that new like temporary bootcamp updates channel has a list of power up calls and advice that I'm giving to help you update the stuff that you learned stages 10 through 14 to get it to the latest and greatest and most effective strategy to move forward. So if you reach stage 10, or if you've finished the bootcamp and you haven't watched the material, go into the chats, go into the temporary bootcamp updates, watch the videos I have linked there, take the steps I have linked there, because if you're doing anything else, if you're doing any of the past stuff that I originally taught in the bootcamp that you guys watched, like stages 10 through 14, that's kind of like taking a musket into World War II. I'm sure maybe it's effective, but there's better weapons out there, better tech, better tools. Go use that stuff. It's going to help you massively. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get to the actual lesson for today. Let's get to the power up section. I do these calls every day so I can help you improve, so I can help you get a taste of the energy and the ideas that it takes to be like ultimately successful as copywriters, and to help remind you of things. There's a famous quote. I don't know who said it. I know so many famous quotes that I don't remember who said it. And this is one of them. We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. Right. That's, I think it's a classic. Some old educator said it way back when, like a million years ago. Maybe it was like an old preacher guy. I don't know. Someone said that. Right. And a lot of successful people use this little quote because it's true. The idea of cause and effect isn't something I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to remind you of it. And I'm going to remind you of why it's important. And I'm going to maybe show you a few new ways to think about it in your life to help you get what you want and to help communicate at a more effective level with people. So let's dive in. Cause and effect is universal. I personally don't really believe in luck in a traditional sense. I believe that luck is when you get something where you don't actually understand, where you get an effect where you don't really know the cause or you can't really point to the cause. However, there is nothing in this world that happens by accident. Everything follows natural law. Everything follows a pattern, right? Physics doesn't just like get broken all of a sudden, right? Like there's a cause for every effect. An action creates an effect. And those effects create new effects. And it's kind of this daisy chain of cause and effect, cause and effect. If you do this, then this other thing will happen. Simple example. If you train hard and if you eat well, then you will become physically strong, right? It's a simple if then, cause and effect, right? And in life, if you want to get something, what you should do is say, okay, if this is the effect I want, what are the causes that lead to this effect? If I want to get a reply from a prospect, what are the causes that lead to this effect? If I want to land a $10,000 a month retainer, if that's the effect I want, what are the things that have to happen? What are the ifs that lead to that then? What are the causes that lead to that effect? Simple, right? Simple law, right? However, so many people go through life without truly analyzing this. This is a big part of the OODA loop, right? Observe, orient, decide, and act. A big part of it is sitting there and figuring out what the causes are that are going to give you the effect you want and what effects you're getting from the actions you're taking. So much of the OODA loop is just paying attention to cause and effect in your own life and what you're doing. As you go through the world and you see people that have things that you want, right? Someone's big, successful, strong, smart, beautiful, whatever, right? You see what they have. You need to ask yourself, okay, they have this effect. What were the causes that led to that effect? And you can analyze people's lives, you can analyze people's behaviors, and you can find the actions that will produce the effect that you want, right? It's called modeling, right? You can do this with people, right? You can look at anybody that has done anything successful and try and analyze their previous actions to identify and pull out the important causes, the levers you can pull to create the effect of whatever they have in their life. And you can take those same laws, those if then things, apply them to your own life. If a law works for someone else, if they're able to use a law of nature, like again the training example, if someone got big and strong because they trained hard and ate well, and that's how they got what they want, there's nothing stopping you from taking advantage of that same law of nature, that same cause and effect relationship in your own life, right? You just have to identify what the true causes are so that you can get the true effects that you want. So you can model people and model and find out what they did to get what they want and do the same thing yourself. Now, let's talk about this as you're in your journey as becoming a copywriter, right? Now, you can go find promotions and sales funnels and stuff like that in your swipe file and out in the wild that have crushed it, made multi millions of dollars, billions of dollars in some cases, right? You can analyze that effect. Okay, they got this amazing stuff. What were the causes that led to that effect? You can sit down and break down a sales page and identify, okay, here's the objective, here's the effect that they created. What did they do to get that effect? And you can identify those causes and you can say, if I create a headline like this, then I'll get this giant result. And you can use that cause and effect law now inside of you understand that part of reality, and you could turn around and actually use that in your next promotion to get the same effect or a proportional effect, right? Looking at the world through cause and effect is huge. Analyzing things based on the cause and effect relationship, trying to find cause and effect relationships is actually an indicator of, it's a very common thing with genius thinking. It really is. Like if you look at people who are billionaires or people who have achieved genius level of thought, almost all of them are insanely curious about cause and effect relationships in the world and trying to map those out. I was really lucky when I was a young kid. My parents did a very good job, like from a young age, to help me understand if this happens, then this result happens, and understanding how to map the world through that. I remember there was this thing that we said when I was a kid, and it stuck with me. Let's see if I can remember it perfectly. Good choices bring good consequences and more choices. Bad choices bring bad consequences and fewer choices. There you go. Childhood lesson from Andrew Bass's childhood. That was something I learned at a very young age, like 3 or 4. I remember like remembering that from a young age. And it's absolutely true. Your life is going to be determined, the quality of your life, the things that you have are going to be a result of the choices you make, right? So if you want a certain life, you need to identify the choices you need to make and simply perform those choices to get that life. It's a cause and effect world we live in, right? The universe will repay if you truly identify the causes for the effect that you want and you perform those actions. Natural law will result in you achieving that. That's how the world works, right? That's why there are laws and principles of success. Success leaves clues. You can look at people's lives and figure out what they did. Now, that's a top-down approach. That's starting with the effect and reverse engineering the behaviors that need to happen. Now, that's cool and all, but a lot of you, that's only one side of the analysis. You can also turn around and look at your current actions and your current situation and plot the effects that are going to occur as a result. You can look at yourself and say, okay, I spend an hour a day working out. What are the effects going to be downstream? And you can map out what the resulting effects are from that one cause. You can also look at other things, perhaps that aren't as productive. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm spending 3 hours playing video games. What are the effects that are going to occur? natural law is going to give me results as I'm choosing the effects right now by making this choice. What are the consequences of this? And then you can actually decide whether or not the things you're doing right now are going to lead somewhere you want, right? You have to do both analysis. You have to look at the top, down, and reverse engineer what you need to do now. And you need to look at what you're doing now and what it's going to get you, right? Now, I've given you some direction here with the daily checklist. I've given you some things you need to focus on in order to get the effects that you guys all signed up for, which is finding businesses you can partner with and making lots of money with them. So then you can turn around and own part of that business or launch your own business. That's all based off of doing those daily checklist tasks, because those are the causes that are going to generate the effects that you want, right? That's an example. So you need to perform this analysis. You do a top-down analysis, look at what you want, and reverse engineer what has to happen to give you that thing. And you have to look at what you're doing and map what those down, like what the resulting effects are going to be, and decide what your actions are, right? When you act, you are actually choosing your effects, right? So when you sit down and you pull up your phone and you open up social media, you are actually choosing the effect, not just the current behavior, but you're choosing the consequences. You're saying, I don't want to be wealthy. Like, I'll just sit here and consume junky social media instead of actually performing tasks that are going to benefit my mind or help me achieve this goal or help me learn copywriting. Like, you're choosing something else, right? You're choosing a different effect. If you're honest with yourself, that's cool, right? If you want that life, that's fine with me. I'm not gonna judge you for what you truly want. But if you want a different effect, but you're performing behaviors that aren't congruent, that will actually lead to a different outcome, then you need to get real with yourself and decide to actually make choices that lead to what you truly want, or else you didn't truly want them, right? When you truly want something, you'll perform those behaviors no matter what, right? If there was ever a situation where my children's lives were threatened, I would perform whatever behavior I need to do to ensure their success and safety and survivability. And that's because it's something I absolutely 1,000% want. And it should be that same way with you for mastering copywriting and earning lots of money, right? It should be that same level of, I am going to perform these behaviors no matter what. Now, obviously, cause and effect is nuanced. There's a lot of causes, there's a lot of effects, there's a lot of multi-variables that go into things. It's not just like, so it's not usually so binary. It's not do one thing and you get one result. Usually it's do 34 things and you'll get this result, but there's 3 things that are really important. Focus on those. Like, it's a little more complicated than that, but you have to go through the world looking for cause and effect relationships, both upstream and downstream. You got to look at for it in your own life. You got to look at it in other people's lives. The more you understand this, the better you'll be able to not only drive your own life, but you'll help other people drive their lives. Most people don't get what they want because they don't understand the correct cause and effect relationship for getting what they want, right? And so much of what you do as a copywriter is showing them the cause that they must enact in order to get the effect that they want, right? So many people, right? Let's take the example of like weight loss. A lot of people want to be in good shape, right? They want to have a nice trim figure, or they want to be sub 10% body fat, but they don't truly understand all the causes that need to be enacted in order to get that effect, right? A big part of what you do as a copywriter is you are expanding their vision of reality. You're showing them more of the cause and effect relationships that they don't currently understand to get what they want. And you're giving them a vehicle that helps them take advantage of the causes more effectively so that they can get the effects that they want in their life. If you don't understand your market and your avatar and their goals and the cause and effect relationship that occurs on a fundamental level with each and every product and solution that you offer, you're going to have a very hard time helping them actually change their life. And if you can't help them change their life, you can't help them make good decisions, then they probably won't buy from you in the first place. You have to understand this law. You have to start looking for cause and effect. If you can understand cause and effect for yourself, it's going to be much easier for you to show up at a business and review someone's sales page and review their stuff and talk and look at their avatar for about 15 minutes. Like, if they want to get this result that they want, these are the causes, and this is how this product helps them take advantage of the causes. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to help write it this way so I can reveal it to the product. It's easy when you understand it that way. So what I'd like you guys to do as a result of this call, I'd like you guys to review your own life, both from a top down and from a bottom up analysis. Look at what you're currently doing and how you're spending your time. Ask yourself what those actions or behaviors are going to do. Every time you sit down and take an action today, think about what is the effect of this action. Hopefully most of those choices are good. If you sit down and it turns out to be an effect that you don't want, just change your action. Do something else so that you can get what you want. So as a first off, just analyze what you're currently doing and the results that it's going to give you. Analyze what you would like to pick a couple of goals, pick things that you would like to have, and reverse engineer the behaviors or the actions or the requirements that must be in place for you to get that effect. What are the causes I need to enact in order to get this effect? Analyze that. That's the first step. Drive your own life, and it's going to turn you into a little machine that sees cause and effect everywhere. You're going to start to try to figure out why things happen the way they do. Why did this effect occur? You're going to get that genius level curiosity about cause and effect relationships that will propel you to greater success as a copywriter and as a person. Musashi said, I think he's like, to know 10,000 things, know the one deeply, or something like that, right? As you guys build copywriting mastery, you are actually not just building mastery as a copywriter. You're learning how to drive yourself to success, and it's going to carry over to any other path that you ever take, right? And not to mention the fact that like knowing the language of persuasion is pretty useful. It's an important cause that will generate many effects that you want in your life. So take some time today, analyze your life, analyze it from a cause and effect relationship. Figure out what you need to change to get what you want, and then just change it. Choose the effects you want by making the choices, by choosing your behaviors now. It's that simple, right? And the more you learn inside the campus, the more you improve your marketing IQ, the better your understanding of the cause and effect relationships across the beautiful map of copywriting will be, and the more successful you'll be. My friends, it's been a fun call. I enjoy talking with you guys, enjoy sharing these things with you. And I look forward to sharing more with you guys inside of the new bootcamp. I will talk with you guys again tomorrow morning for our power up call. Until then, figure out some good causes to get some of your good effects, and I will talk with you guys then. Take care.